check out YouTube. I'm laughing at some of the comments. The atheists are talking crap to me, saying that I'm an idiot, that how do I know this device doesn't work? And I know for a fact it won't, without even looking at the schematic. But of course, nobody else is buying into it, typically the Christians. Somebody earlier posted up a link to some schematics for it, and I had to go to work, so I couldn't look at them. It's got a minute. I actually thought maybe these were schematics from the fuel doctor, you know, coming. They're pretty detailed here. And I was like, I'm surprised I actually even put parts on it and everything like this. But anyway, now that I'm home, I'm looking at it some more. I can see it's actually somebody that's showing why the device won't work. And actually, I was looking at the schematic earlier, and the person who did the breakdown, they're exactly right with this information on here, especially when they mention down here, this should be an inductor using a capacitor here, makes the voltage regulator non-functional. And I was looking at that too. I was looking at the path coming out they got the collector that's tied up through a current limiting resistor coming from the 12-volt rail here, and then it goes and feeds into the collector. That's normal. And then the emitter comes out, drops down to looks like a Zener diode, and then they have this capacitor here. It doesn't make any sense, because capacitor will charge up and then no current will pass. But I guess if you got pulses, it could. Doesn't make any. The circuit still doesn't make any sense. And then there's the voltage regulator going back to the feedback input of this MC34063A, which is a little switching, just a universal type. Where you could set up in different things here. Anyways, the feedback, that's normal to feed that back in there, but the circuit right here, it doesn't do anything. The only thing it does is charge up power, go through the current limiting resistor, and turn on the green on-off LED, which is this right here. This LED right here is right here in the schematic. So that's all this whole circuit does. It does not tie back into the power. But I mean, what they're saying it does in the commercial, by plugging into your cigarette lighter outlet, I knew for a fact it couldn't possibly be doing anything. I mean, you could be adding capacitors or something in the circuit to take out any ripples, but it ain't going to do what they say it was going to do. And by the way, the powertrain control module on a car's got better regulation than this already. So this circuit doesn't do anything. All it does is I'm surprised they even wasted money on this stuff. But they buy it in bulk. This stuff don't cost that much. They actually are just powering an LED with this entire circuit. I mean, it's crazy that they did that. Here's the fuse. Here's your ground. Here's your 12 volts. Okay, so your ground is this black wire, red, coming in. Diode. That way. The reason you put the diode, you usually want to put a pretty good size one in when you do that, which is probably what this is. D5. Yep, that's it. Is if somebody got the power backwards, which is pretty hard if you plug it in a cigarette lighter. If you put the power backwards, you'll get current flow through here from positive to negative, and it'll pop the 2-amp fuse before destroying. It's like a shunt. It'll keep it from destroying the rest of the circuit. This is just a normal 47 microfarad filter capacitor. That's what I mean. It's this barrel one right here. That's just in there just to filter the circuit, make a steady 12 volts at the source at the circuit. That's normal. And then here we have a LM2903 dual operation amplifier, pretty common part. This whole circuitry, its job is just to switch these two LEDs, which is the one saying you have normal power in the vehicle and when it says low. Well, it's pretty simple here. Is what they have here is they have the reference voltage, which is generated by going through a current limiting resistor, 10,000 ohms, and a Zener diode at 10 volts. And the way a Zener diode works is you get the rating. Any voltage higher than 10 volts will flow through there, and it basically shorts it to ground. It just shunts it through. But it'll be exactly at 10 volts. Obviously, you don't want to put too much current, or it's just going to burn it up or the circuit up. So that's why there's a 10,000 ohm current limiting resistor. This is normal. This is exactly how you would do this. This is just going to put a very steady 10 volt voltage reference into the two inputs. So they got it set up on this one for where it says minus, that's voltage reference to this, and then basically they're taking a voltage divider circuit, 10,000 ohm and a 68,000 ohm to bring the voltage down, and then coming into this reference. And if this voltage exceeds this one, this is an open collector output, just like it shows right here, which I knew it would be. open. So you have to put an external pull-up resistor, which is what this is. This is normal. The circuit's actually proper. 10,000 ohms, or 120,000 ohms, sorry. It's R10 label. Pulls it up, so you got your 12 volts sitting here on this 2N2222 NPN switching transistors, very popular part. It's holding it up, which would have it, so when you have 12 volts here, this is biased and it's going to conduct. So it's open collector output, so basically when this is off, it's grounding it down. The circuit is holding this at 0 until the plus reference exceeds the minus input reference. So if you have more than this voltage here is 10, and they're dividing this a little bit. So if your battery drops below like 11.5 volts or so, that'll actually be about 10 here. If it drops below the 10 volt reference here, this is going to switch high, thanks to this pull-up resistor, switch on the transistor, and which is going to source to ground. You got a current limiting resistor for the LED. That's because the LED can only take usually about 80 milliamps on average for normal popular ones, and it's going to go down and ground it. That's going to make this light up. So if your power is above like 11.5 or so volts, it's going to basically, this is an idiot light for you. It's going to say normal. So if your volt on this one here, so they got reversed. They got the reference going to plus, the steady 10 volt reference, and then they got the divided 12 volts, from the car, which is like usually about 13.8 when the engine's running. It's going to the minus one. So basically, since this one, the reference is, this one's higher than this one's going to stay off, and this light this will not be lit up. But if your voltage drops down on your car just a little bit, then this will be through the what you're getting out of the voltage divider will be less than 10 volts. This one will go out. This one will switch it on, doing the same thing, sourcing it to ground right here. This they don't show. I don't even what this is, and these are all scratched off with a Dremel. That's pretty typical, and someone doesn't want you to see what they're using. So I don't know what that is. That's in the circuit, but it can't possibly be doing anything. So down here, these are just two separate circuits totally. This one's just switching these two LEDs. They're just idiot lights. This whole switching circuit is only passing power through and turning on the on-off light. It's actually, this doesn't even need to be here. I don't even know why they have it in there. It's crazy because it ain't doing crap. Actually, they have those 2N2222s. I think that's regular, but these are surface mount ones. So I don't know if that part number would be the same or not. Actually, I think it might be. You can get them in different packages, but yeah, this guy, they're pretty correct with their description here of this hoax. It couldn't do anything. I mean, I recognize pretty much everything just by looking at the parts that are on there. I mean, I know what they all are, but I mean, without part numbers, I can only guess on these. So it's like stupid. And it's going through these little wires, and then it connects to goes to the fuse and connects to your 12 volts. So 12 volts is going in, switching this one on if your battery's low, this one on if it's normal, and then the other one is going on all the time. It's stupid. It can't possibly be sending anything back through the power. I mean, you could put an AC ripple or a pulse and write it on top of a DC signal, but that would be suiting no purpose, and that would actually be doing the opposite of what they're claiming that this does. They're saying this cleans the power. It gives you up to 25% fuel economy. It's a scam. It's a hoax. I'm actually just kind of stunned that it actually has all these this much circuitry to it. That's insane. Yeah, here's the switching. The MC34063A. Just pretty typical. You got your reference, your feedback input to its comparator, which is just driving the, that's a flip-flop right there. Drive collector. And here's your open-ended collector and emitter to the output transistor. Timing capacitor, that's to decide what kind of, what frequency you want it to be running. It's a pulse width modulator, basically, so you can run it at different frequencies. And then here's a fixed, internal is always a fixed reference. That's how the voltage you set up the comparator to make it regulate a fixed output. So basically they're regulating the whole circuit, making a regulating circuit just to run an LED. Which they could just put a resistor in an LED and source it to ground right off the 12 volts if they wanted to. That's just insane. Anyway, it's just funny looking at the comments from the atheists. They're just talking crap. You know, these guys are cool. This guy, I see no evidence that the device doesn't work. Only your hearsay. This is what they say. Yet these guys fully believe in evolution and the Big Bang just because some fool with motive told them so. And so that's the biggest hoax of them all. So of course it's the atheists. I mean, they prove my point. All the ones that talk crap to me. That's funny. CO2 is a pollutant. I don't know how trees grow, but the increase of CO2. No, it's not. Crap, saying that a majority of Christians believe in the Big Bang. See, that right there shows what an idiot some people are. If you believe in a Christian for real, not just a watered down one, which I'm going to make a video about soon, about the fad of Christianity versus being a real Christian. If you read the Word, you wouldn't believe the Big Bang because you believe in the Word of God, which is in the Bible. And obviously that isn't the Big Bang or evolution. Anyway, this just cracks me up. I mean, watch this video. It's my video called "Who Would Be a Sucker to Buy Into This Scam? Plug-in device to cut CO2 in cars." Question. It's actually in the form of a question, but yeah, it's just crap. The FD-47, the fuel doctor, takes power through your cigarette lighter plug, makes it pure and sends it back into the engine controls and makes everything work properly and gives you up to 25% fuel economy improvement. Bull crap. Bull crap. And like I said, that you got the voltage rail that goes out to almost all the controls on a car engine, all the sensors, there are 5 volts. Okay. The fuel doctor is hooked up only to the cigarette lighter outlet, which is 12 volts. So all the regulation for the 5 volt side is still in the power train control module. And it runs a very steady 5 volts going out to all the sensors. Your throttle position sensor, crank position sensor, crankshaft position sensor, anything else that's at 5 volts. Voltage references going out to all your temperature sensors. Everything. I mean, it's all very well regulated in a very high-tech powertrain control module. This thing isn't going to do anything. It's just plugged in the cigarette lighter plug. It couldn't possibly be doing anything to it. Not to mention the wiring isn't all that great usually to a cigarette lighter plug, because you know, so it's subjectable to interference going back out of it. You know, if there was interference from nearby electronics, so it's stupid.